Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cardin Ellis. I am your host today in this beautiful Problem Solver Politics live stream, along with none other than Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, you're a little bit dark. I'm going to have to go over there and lighten you up, brother. But anyway, yeah, today's a crazy day already. You were saying people have been going nuts against ACB. I've been noticing generally positive reviews. I think who's really going to settle this are the rioters.
What?
That's really what I think. The argument will be settled in the streets.
There's obviously people that are happy and people that are unhappy. That's not what we're talking about. I have to be honest. I don't know. It's one of those things people get in these. I get in this argument with people a lot where it's like, obviously, who's in the Supreme Court matters. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, I don't know. What are you gonna do about it? You know what I mean?
Well, actually,
there's one thing I feel like you can do, but whoever's in the Supreme Court, and that's figure out how you're gonna deal with it. Because, like, no offense, whoever you are, no one's asking you who should be on the Supreme Court. So anyway, that's my stance on the Supreme Court.
Well, it's funny you say that, though,
so we can
because I actually kind of felt like, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I have felt like. Not that this was a nothing burger, but this oftentimes political news will boil over from the pundit class and the in the know political class and the commentator class into the regular public. But I feel like this news finally just stayed in its place amongst those people there, and it didn't boil over and it didn't ruin our public discourse for a day, and it didn't, make everybody hate each other and fight at the dinner table over it. It seems like it just stayed in its nice little box, and it didn't, my cousins aren't mad at me and screaming at me on Facebook and so on and so forth. So I actually kind of feel like, okay, something political happened today and the world did not explode, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't really have a problem. I don't have a problem with family members yelling at me, so I don't really care. I guess it is what it is.
That's funny.
It was Monday today, but well, I guess speaking of, I guess maybe we should do. I do have something that for the title of the stream I want to talk about. Echelon Insights did a update to their poll they did a couple of years ago, talking about what if the United States was a five-party democracy, a five-party like a parliamentary system, or they say multi-party democracy. Where would you be voting? And there's some interesting stuff. So
this is cool.
Yeah, actually, we'll get right into this first. We'll get into this. So
yeah.
Here is the first thing I want to get into. So again, some Echelon Insights. We've covered a couple polls from Echelon Insights. This one I thought was a little interesting, and I wanted to go through it.
Echelon Insights is the millennial poster. I mean, sure. The millennial pollster.
Yes. So they mentioned that they go through this whole thing. Here's it's 100 or 1,006 registered likely voters. So that was how they did this. But check this out. So basically, they split it up into. Let me move this so you can see. So I forgot to double check before we started that. Where can I put us so we're not too intrusive? You know what? We're gonna have to just.
Okay, so this is the only thing I don't get. I get nationalist.
There you go. So,
okay.
Here we go. So they split it up basically into 5 parties, 5 choices, and they have the leader who like the de facto or the kind of the figurehead leader would be. And then in October of 2019, they did this very similar. I think the only difference was Obama was the leader of Labor instead of Biden. So not much of a difference, right? So they asked the respondents read a description of 5 new political parties, but not their names or party leaders, and asked who they would support. So I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, that is.
Without knowing what party you're supporting, without knowing what it's about, what would you align with? So anyway.
Oh, this is really cool.
A decrease of 4% from October of 2019 was the Nationalist Party, which is led by Donald Trump. So the description is to stop illegal immigration, put America first, stand up to political correctness, and end unfair trade deals.
Okay.
So that was the third most, or like, I guess technically third most popular, right?
Yeah.
Next, we had the Conservative Party. For some reason, the only non-living and non-current member of politics and Ronald Reagan. I don't know why they say I guess literally the Reagan Party, going all the way back to nobody since has been important. Anyway, that this was described as defending the American system of free enterprise, promoting traditional family values, and ensuring a strong military. You know what? Maybe there's a reason why America starts a lot of wars. It's people who just probably like it anyway.
Okay.
That has actually gone up, you'll notice, from 2019. So this would actually be basically tied as the most powerful party.
Can I ask you one question before you continue, Cody?
Yeah.
My only question is I immediately read the list and I get what nationalist means. I get what conservative means. And I don't have huge qualms with their definitions. Labor is obviously a term used in a lot of other countries, especially the UK, to represent their, quote, liberal party. And I like that they divided the Labor Party that focuses on economic issues in juxtaposition to the Green Party, which is the psycho-pseudoscience of climate change. But what does Acela mean? That's not a...
We'll go through. They show it in a second. They describe it. It's basically like just centrist.
But no, is that a... No, but is
it
that...
stands for something. I
Yeah,
don't
what
remember
does that
off the top.
stand
I don't
for?
remember, but it's in the article.
Dang
We'll
it.
get to
Okay.
It'll come up soon, but yeah, it does. The
Okay.
party of Bloomberg. Anyway, great intro. Let's go to them. The either Acela, I guess, or the ACELA. I have no idea. Acela, maybe. 11% support currently, which should be tied for Green at the bottom. Actually, a little bit less popular than it was in October of 2019. This would be the party of Mike Bloomberg. So, advance social progress, including women's rights and LGBTQ rights, work with other countries through free trade and diplomacy, cut the deficit, and reform capitalism with sensible regulation. That is... You know what? That does kind of sound like the cop-out party, right? Because it's like half of a couple different ones put together. Because it's like...
It seems like they struggled with that definition.
It looks more socially left than labor. But then
But
maybe
they put
more,
it in the middle.
But then maybe because
Yeah.
it's more fiscally conservative than conservative? I have no idea. But anyway,
Yeah.
quick little burn through. The most popular of all the ones that actually... Also, you'll notice something else I want to show you. There's only 2 of these 5 parties that, when described this way, saw an increase from last year. Conservative and Green, and Conservative had big gains. So the defending American system of free enterprise, promoting traditional values. Anyhow, we got the labor. So put the middle class first, pass universal health insurance, strengthen labor unions, and raise taxes on the wealthy to support programs for those less well off. That's the Labor Party. In a lot of ways, if you get rid of just the health insurance and labor unions, I guess not really, not that much. It is pretty much the modern Democratic Party. Then you get to the Green Party, to the party of AOC. We'll see also at one of the only other 2 parties to see an increase from last time. Listen to this. So pass a Green New Deal to build a carbon-free economy with jobs for all, break up big corporations, end systemic inequality, and promote social and economic justice.
May I offer... supposition, Cody. I actually think that this list is great, and it's an astute observation that we actually have 4 parties and not 2. And the reason I think the Acela party is struggling both with its name and its definition is because I don't think it exists. I think there really is. They were able to get the nationalist versus the conservative and the Green versus the labor definitions down so much better because there's a natural coordination with the way the average American feels on that spectrum. Because if there really were a middle ground, and mathematically that middle ground would be represented by the fact that the fringe groups have less, and then we always fall into these bell curves. So the middle definition of that middle party actually should be holding more. So those percentages don't represent a bell curve. So I don't think they did a really good job of defining all those parties. And it seems like the only one they screwed up on was the Acela party. But those other definitions I think are really, really true.
And it looks like I was wrong. I thought I read somewhere one of these things what Acela stood for. I can't find it now. I'll let you know if I see it later.
I'll look for it while you're finishing up what you were saying.
Yeah, well, because they found some more stuff in the study. I thought they have some conclusions they drew themselves, but I thought it'd be interesting because if you go to the next little slide here, they go on to mention
Acela is the service mark of Amtrak's high-speed rail service.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it means.
So it's the party of pork barrel spending.
It's the anyway
as representative by the mascot of Amtrak. Awesome,
Clearly.
We're on clearly.
So so I believe this is the very similar to the last question, but they had a slightly different description.
Okay.
Or is it? Oh, sorry. Yes, because this is now okay. Now they're asked this, but they're given. It looks like the difference here is they have a larger idea of who it is. I'm actually not too clear on this, but just to get through again, nationalists would be the Trump Republican Party. So anti-illegal immigration and political correctness and assert American national identity. Conservatives, the pre-Trump Republican Party, which, okay, that makes more sense. Pro-free enterprise, socially conservative, strong on defense. I love that. What are pre-Trump Republicans really? It's kind of hard to explain it, except for they definitely spend money on the military. The ACLA or ACELA, the ACELA corridor's idea of centrism, socially liberal, globalist. Jesus, that might be the worst one of all. Socially liberal, globalist, fiscally responsible. What does it even mean?
I looked up a ACELA party political definition. What's hilarious is the first result that comes up of 35,000 is theweakerparty.blogspot.com. What is an ACELA Republican? And there's 50 articles that basically say the ACELA primary or the Republican primary is the weak rhinos, which kind of basically sounds like,
dude, that might be the
Republican in name only.
Well, no,
but actually liberals.
They're not even Republicans. That's the thing. They wouldn't even be rhinos. It's like that is like literally like the neo-lib party. You know, we're socially liberal, globalist, but fiscally, you know, like
they're
like,
also called Rockefeller Republicans.
Yes, but this is hilarious. This is basically like so. I can have brunch all across the globe, but no universal health care because it costs too much. That's this party. I love it. Then we have labor, so a hard hat version of today's Democratic Party, focused on bread and butter economic issues, not cultural issues. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
The fact that a worker-focused Democratic Party that focuses on the economy instead of cultural issues would be the most popular party in America, even if there was 5. That is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, the Democratic Party is going to run as far away from that description as humanly possible in reality. Why?
Well, and that's kind of what they were.
That's what people want.
That's kind of what they were in the 70s. Wouldn't you say a hard hat version of today's Democratic Party? Because now, I mean, if you're a worker, you're a Republican.
I would say it's more up in the air probably than it used to be.
Oh, okay. But I mean, if you're looking for representation and improvement in the working class, you're Republican. And the math shows that all of the gains made by labor and unions in terms of voting in the 60s, 70s, and 80s has been lost by one Donald Trump. But ironically, all the wealthy suburban women and all of the white vote has swung drastically Democratic. So it's kind of like they're doing a little do-si-do now. It's kind of like, oh, Republicans are like, oh, I'll trade you the working class, or sorry, you know, the upper middle class for the working class. You know, it's like they're doing musical chairs or something. This is fun. And this actually reminds me of the reason I first started liking politics in the first place, Cody, was not actually because of any policy ideals, but the people. When you study politics, you inherently study large groups of people and the decisions that they make and the histories that they share. If you dive into why are Western miners of West Virginia generally Democratic, despite the fact that their counterparts in the surrounding states are often Republican or Green Party or this or that, and you find out, oh, well, there was a great migration of these people from this country to this area, and there was a leader who had helped them get this kind of industry started, and due to that industry, mostly they've maintained their status as blank. You know, like, it's actually a really, really fun historical lens through which you can view your country and the American people that I love. And so the fact that we're being able to take these percentages and see what people would divide themselves into if they had a chance to, quote, self-report, that's really cool to me. I really like this. This is one of the most interesting things we talk about in a long time from my standpoint. But I'm a nerd for numbers like this. This is my fantasy football, Cody.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you know, when you do fantasy football and you like seeing all these graphs with little heads of everybody and things like that?
These numbers don't actually matter too much. It's of 1,000 people that were polled. I just think it's interesting to see the, you know, like, it's something to talk about, but like you can't really extrapolate this to the country. However, That being said, I do believe this description of a political party, hard hat version of today's Democrats focused on bread and butter economic issues, not cultural. I do believe that party wins elections. That's not the Democratic Party of today, but that party probably wins elections. Last one we'll go to some other things quickly. The Green Party being described as the political home of the squad, pushing for a Green New Deal and socialist policies.
Socialist? That's one way of putting it. But
how described in this thing, yeah.
The political home of the squad. I like that they actually used it. Do you think the squad, Cody, is one of those names that will live in infamy? Not infamy, but I mean just like will actually endure beyond their generation. For example,
like the Gang of Eight, what was it?
Well, yeah, like the Gang of Eight kind of people can't even name two of the Gang of Eight anymore, and I think it's kind of died. You know, but like founding fathers. Our founding fathers. No, that's kind of one of those political phrases.
The squad would be the founding fathers, I guess, if there's literally a new socialist America and we go to year zero.
No, but I'm just saying the term founding fathers has endured centuries now.
Okay, it has because they
Do you think the squad, like people will know the squad? No. Like we know JFK. People can't name half the presidents between JFK.
Well, hold on,
but for some reason, JFK has just, it's endured in
LBJ.
Pop culture. I don't think the average person knows what LBJ is, while the average person knows what JFK is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
people don't know who George Bush.
Yeah, because that
Bill
just shows.
Clinton. I think people know who George. Here's the thing: you could just say George Bush, and that's two presidents covered.
Yeah,
and then people don't know Bill Clinton, but Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, and these names.
So how long do you think the relevance and the average person's understanding of the squad will last?
It depends on a lot, really.
Okay.
I could see it just being like closer to Gang of Eight, right? Something. It was a group. Because here's the thing, right? Like, dude, the way politics work, odds are the squad, they're going to be at ends politically with each other, even on the left part of the Democratic Party in a couple of years anyway. You know what I mean? It's just how politics work. Different allegiances, different ideas, different things take you different ways.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But anyway, let's get to the super chat here.
Hit it.
Sly Cactus, thank you very much. $5 super chat. He said, "Have a happy Thanksgiving." Sincerely from Gavin Newsom. Yes, we have some very interesting California laws on. Well, I'll get to those in a second. We'll talk about that. That'll be interesting. But I want to quickly just burn through the rest of this. Check this out. They have some other.
While you're looking it up, I'll just throw a shout out to Emerald Miner, who said, "I wore my math hat to early vote, but sad to say, I didn't write him in."
Well, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Hey, vote for whoever you want to vote for. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Even if it's Michael Bloomberg. Anyway.
Okay.
So Laborers and Conservatives have the most crossover appeal. I thought was not too. That didn't really seem too interesting to me. This is what I thought was interesting. So.
Okay, hit it.
Here is the breakdown from voters. So independents, green. More independents lean towards the Green Party than the Mike Bloomberg awful neo-lib centrist party.
Or supposedly centrist.
It's the least popular basically for every demographic.
Oh, that's funny.
Except for Dem leaning.
Well, conservatives crush it obviously amongst the GOP leaning.
But listen,
they're almost the exact inverse.
But no, that's what I want. Check this out. This reason why polls don't matter that much. With the data that they found here, it's interesting here. It's showing that most GOP voters want not Trump. They want the anti-Trump Republican Party.
No, I'd say the anti-Trump Republican Party is the Acela, which is the orange, not the blue.
I think that's literally how they frame this. Oh, sorry, pre-Trump.
The pre-Trump Republican
People want
Party.
Pre-Trump Republicans from the GOP. Which,
but the only ones that are overperforming on this graph, though, is look, their slice is almost the perfect insert. The slice of the red Democrats is almost the perfect inverse of the slice of the blue Republicans on this graph. The only group that is really overperforming amongst independents is unsure and also nationalist. The nationalists are super overperforming.
Unsure is overperforming, exactly. Because that's why I don't want to get too far into it. I just think, again, it's interesting to see that the idea of just that maybe pre-Trump Republican Party is actually what the GOP voting base at large does want to go back to. But yeah, to your point, it seems that maybe less independents want that. So that's interesting, right? I just, again, though, one poll, I thought there was one more number. Just, again, tracking this out over the course of the last year, you've seen nationalist support dwindle and kind of pre-Trump Republican support increasing. That's something they have noticed in these polls. Also, so that was funny. The only people that support the awful neolib Acela party is it's really, who is it? It's really just somewhat liberal people, I guess. But even then, it's like they would much rather be Labor and almost as rather be Green. It's not a huge one.
So here's a really interesting comment from Sly Cactus. He says, I am proud to say I went with what was true to my heart and voted Andrew Yang. I feel so relieved, and I'm glad I don't have to live with the guilt of voting for someone I didn't want to vote for. You know, it's interesting. I totally feel him and simultaneously think slightly differently. I totally respect what he just said, that when you vote the way you want, you don't have to live with the guilt of these people and these idiots. And that's how I feel 90% of the time. Every once in a while, though, I definitely do think, like Charlie Kirk says, that your vote is a chess piece where you've got one move in the game and you have a chance. There have been times where I just thought, okay, I'm treating this more as a chess piece move. Like there's the one time I voted for Jess Phoenix where I knew overwhelmingly the Republican was going to win, but I like the idea of citizen politicians and I want to reward that in our society. So I thought that, okay, even though I don't necessarily want some kind of hyper environmentalist. I'm not saying that's what she was, but that's kind of how other people think she was. I voted for her wanting to support the idea of citizen politicians, especially ones that seemed reasonable like
Cardin, how many votes do you get?
You get one, dog.
Okay.
Well, no, we're in California. You get like 2 or 3.
I'm just saying, like, this is the thing when it comes to voting. People saying your vote shaming, any of that nonsense is this. To be frank, nobody's really asking you. They're letting you have a voice. And it's not to like shit on voting. It's just you.
This is where you and I disagree, Cody. I believe this is a blessed land by God, and the divine providence of the vote is bestowed upon His children.
My point is this: you have the right to vote for whoever you want, whoever you damn want, whoever it is. Doesn't matter. Here's the thing: if I vote for Kanye West, the likelihood that Kanye West is elected president based on my vote is the same that Joe Biden or Donald Trump get elected president based on my vote. It's not really about that. Now, obviously, if you really believe in a candidate, you might disagree. You can just say, well, I believe in this candidate. They should win.
Yeah.
Then vote for him. I don't believe in that candidate. I don't think they should win, so I'll vote for him. Here's the thing. It's not like I get to, hold back whatever president I don't like by voting for their opposition. It doesn't work that way. You get to have your voice. Vote for whoever you want. Vote for your dog if you think you have the best dog in the world.
Yeah.
Vote for anyone you want. You don't get to pick the president.
Okay.
Again, quite frankly, no one's asking who you voted for. So vote whatever you want, man. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So anyway, we got a super chat here. Kenneth Booker asks, are any Republicans supporting UBI? Yeah, UBI. Yeah, we've interviewed him on the show. And I noticed there's been all these comments when I've been commenting on the comments on these videos.
Oh,
because, when I asked Tom, what's the future of the Yang Gang? And is there still a place for conservatives here? Because it doesn't seem like Andrew Yang's interested in a bipartisan Yang Gang anymore. He's interested in kind of a Democrat Party operation. And one of the evidences of that I said was that he's never endorsed to this day a Republican who's run on a UBI platform. And I was getting all of these guys saying, well, that's because Republicans don't endorse it. No, dude, we've interviewed Republicans that in their stated platforms, or Republican candidates, that there's been multiple candidates. We were able to score an interview with Dan Larson.
Dan Larson, who ran.
Yeah,
but dude,
but either way, that's one that's just coming right off the top of the head.
Can we just talk about reality for a second?
Okay.
If Andrew Yang wants to have future in a Democratic Party, is endorsing Republicans.
No, I get it, but then just admit you're a sellout to the party. That's it. Just admit you're a sellout to the party.
What does that even mean, dude? What does it even mean, admit you're a sellout to the party? What, does he have to give a speech to Cardinellis to explain himself to you? What
Yes,
does
he
even
does.
mean?
He owes me, and I feel
I don't
entitled.
know. I guess I just always believe that actions speak louder than words. And yes, it seems that Andrew definitely wants a future in the Democratic Party somehow. So he's angled himself that way. Hey,
Okay.
again, guy's got a wife, guy's got kids, guy's got a family, he's got a whole house. I think he knows what he's doing. I would prefer you didn't do it, but whatever. No one's asking me. It doesn't matter what I think about it, quite frankly.
Well, Diva J agrees with me and says Yang has gone full on Dem, and it's making me nauseous. I think he will lose more than he gains. I hate to say it, but by towing the Dem line, I don't see him as gaining a bunch of followers, but he will lose, or at least make their support lackluster. A lot of people like me who now just think, great. Well, now you're just another one of them.
Again, Carter.
You know what I'm saying?
No one's asking you. That's how these things work.
Cody, look, I liked my
these
thoughts.
Things just go on. They happen. It's not.
I
based
liked
on anyone in
my
particular.
self-importance a lot more.
Exactly.
And I felt a lot more comfortable and happy with myself.
See, that's the thing with voting.
Until you pulled your pants down and took a big fat shite all over my personal self-aggrandizement.
Yeah.
All right.
Talking about voting, man. There's a lot of people. It's like, dude, you get your voice, you get your vote. It's nice. Use it on whoever you want. You're not the queen. You're not knighting these people.
Well, actually, and by the way,
quite frankly, the person you vote for, like I said, vote for your dog. The odds that your vote is the vote that tips the election towards your dog are as likely as that your vote's the vote that tips the election towards Trump or Biden. Like, it doesn't work that way. When one person goes to vote, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And if you truly believe you don't believe in either of the main candidates in the two main parties, then you don't have to vote for them. Because again, if they're going to win, they're going to win regardless if you vote for them or not. It's not about that.
Yeah. Well, I do have to say that, we interviewed Dan Larson. There's been a lot of other Republican candidates that have been pro-UBI that haven't been that top 3 tier.
Who, though?
President.
I have to be honest. I can't think of any. I was trying to look. I couldn't see him. Like, who?
Well, okay, so we interviewed Dan Larson. I've seen a lot of people that have been going for small offices like city council, water board, things like that. Where
what
it's
is
just
a water board person doing supporting UBI, dude?
Well, it's kind of interesting.
I'm just saying, dude. Like, I have to.
That's why I'm saying it's
admit,
second tier. It's like you're not going to be.
It's not even second tier. Like maybe city council. What does the water board have to do with UBI?
Well, no, because that's how you get the endorsements of the parties, and you basically disclose who you are as a person and what your views are, and so on and so forth. So even though you're running for water board, you might be talking about how you're a climate justice warrior in order to get votes, because people want to make sure that somebody of their ideology, because all politics are national now. It used to be that all politics are local. Now all politics are national. And so that's why for water board, you would still state whether or not you're a UBI candidate. And so anyway, I've seen multiple Republicans in small races.
Is your point really, how dare Andrew Yang not endorse pro-UBI freaking water board
No, I'm not saying
candidates?
how dare. No, I'm not saying how dare you. I'm just saying.
Like, what is...
I'm just saying I believe in accountable.
For your sake, can we get off the discussion?
Oh my gosh. Fine. We can.
If you ever see, you have 30 names you can rattle off of pro-UBI Republicans he's not endorsing, I'd love to hear
We can't name 30 Democrats that are pro-UBI.
Exactly.
This is tip of the spear, baby.
Maybe the fact that Andrew Yang isn't sticking his neck out to endorse against his own party for people that theoretically exist, you think you've seen before.
No, we've had Heidi Briones.
She was not a Republican.
No, I know, but I'm saying we can only name the amount of UBI candidates on one hand altogether.
Let's move off the discussion. I don't think this is a fruitful discussion.
Okay, fine. Well, I was simply defending myself that there's not a lot of them, and the few there are, I think he would support.
The few they are, you think exist because you can't name. That's all I'm saying, man. Like, let's just move on.
No, there's only like 4 altogether post Yang Gang that have even ran for office.
It's like, if there's only 4, why can't you name them?
Okay, there was Dan Larson, there was Heidi Briones, there was David Kim.
Didn't run as a Republican.
No, I know, but I'm saying you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm saying there's been so few UBI candidates at all, and I'm naming all the UBI candidates that have run for either president or Senate or Congress.
Again,
there's only been like 4 or 5, dude.
We'll just move off.
There's only been 4 or 5.
So it's not that weird that Andrew Yang has endorsed any pro UBI Republicans because there
was one. He had a chance. He had a chance.
Okay, now we're
the 3, there was one.
Now we're getting off the narrative to reality. There was one guy. Andrew Yang didn't stick his neck out to endorse literally a guy. Which
Yeah.
again, maybe he should have, maybe shouldn't have. I don't know, but it just come on.
Had he done that, I would
This
believe him
is-
more when he
this is
says
a
that he's a
little-
bipartisan
this is-
figure.
Does he say that? Does Andrew Yang sell T-shirts to say I'm
Oh
bipartisan?
my gosh,
I
man!
don't-
I can't do anything right with you today.
It's like you can't do
I can't do
anything.
anything
Dude,
right with
if
you
you're
today.
gonna come at me with some total BS just based on how you feel, I'll tell you if I think you're wrong. I don't know what to say.
The people are asking about the water board, and yeah, the water board is actually pretty influential in our town.
Dude, the water. Okay,
Yeah,
The
they
wa-
get paid bank too. They make like $3,000 a month.
I understand that, but it's just. It's
Yeah.
just-
In fact, I think the
Tell you
water board.
what, if anybody can find any pro UBI water board candidates anywhere in this country, hey, there's Google. They post it up to the line.
I'm gonna
If
look
you
that
can
up.
Find one pro UBI water board candidate in this entire country, please.
Of course, when we look
let
up
me
water
know.
board, if we say
That's what I mean.
pro water board candidate, they might be like what pro
Look,
torture.
Carden, Andrew Yang took a lot of flack for endorsing Democrats that were trying to primary other Democrats.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, and I think somebody brought up, he is endorsing David Kim down here in the 34th. I don't think that Nancy Pelosi loves
Dude,
the
Los
fact,
Angeles Progressive Voter Guide 2020 in the land, the LAND, has a water board candidate who emphasizes a universal basic income
Send
and
me that-
other welfare
Send me that-
policies.
Send me that in
I'm
Discord.
clicking on this right now, and I'm
Send
going
me
to
that in Discord. I know what you're talking about. I think that's the Democratic Socialists of Los Angeles, right?
Uh,
I think that it's like Democratic Socialists of America, Los Angeles. They do a progressive voter guide in LA County. Is that what you're talking about?
maybe I'm sending you the link in
That is too
Discord
fun.
right
Of
now.
course.
That is funny.
Of course, man.
We just found it, bro.
Of course, out here in LA. But anyway, but again, like, dude, seriously, like, I don't know. I know Andrew Yang has kind of joked a little bit, and I'm pretty sure I would not be surprised at all if it goes beyond that a little bit. The fact that he has endorsed Democrats that are running against other Democrats that are trying to primary the Democrats, and that isn't exactly something that sorry, I'm trying to pull it up. That isn't exactly something that, they want to see,
Yeah, well, I do have to say, Republicans do need to step up because they've basically invented UBI. And if there's any Republicans in the chat that want to help me out with this, I bought the URL Republican UBI because I want to be able to educate the average conservative and the average Republican on the virtues of
Oh, check this
universal
out.
basic
Sorry,
income.
Look, they have a whole thing about David Kim. Very cool.
Yeah. So, no, but they had something about a water board candidate on there because I remember the sentence said water board candidate that supports many social, or was it because he was on the water board? He never mentioned that in our interview that he was on the water board previously. So,
So where was that? I want to find the water board candidate that's emphasizes UBI.
yeah, on my Google search, gosh, I wish I could screenshot it because I
pull it
can't see the entire video.
I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up. Just I got it.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I actually own the URL republicanubi.com. And as a future passion project, when I get some time, I was thinking about hopefully making some videos and some educational things. Maybe I could get Scott Santons on there back again with me and so on and so forth. And we could kind of just have like a little educational, what's it called? An educational set of videos made for people that want to understand a little bit more about universal basic income. But anyway, yeah, they're out there. Believe it or not, they're out there. In this iteration of UBI, it's definitely predominantly Democrat. But in the first wave, when it was actually getting passed in the House and Senate, that was all done by Republicans. That was done by Richard Nixon. That was done by Ronald Reagan's boy that actually wrote it, Milton Friedman. So, yeah, they're out there. It's hard to believe, but they're out there.
Is this? I wonder. Is this the candidate you're talking about?
In the Central Basin Municipal Water Districts, not Maxine Waters.
No.
The watershed.
That has to be it. Hold on. So this is District 58.
Margaret Villa.
So she is. So she's running in the Central Basin Municipal Water District. No, this is. I don't know what. This is different. We'll find it. We'll find it in a second. Sorry, I apologize, guys. I'm cracking.
We
up.
will find this unicorn.
I was proven wrong. I'm sure more people do. I was proven wrong. I just didn't. I figured it was just one of those things that
Well, come on. We notice that all the time when people are running for some weird thing. Like, you'll have somebody running for the local school board, and they'll talk about their opposition to the Iraqi war. And it's like, what, in your school board? Like, sorry, you're not voting with the the Joint Chiefs of Staff. You should be the one that's trying to expand the acreage of the playground and build newer slides for the kids and aren't going to burn their butts because they're made out of metal. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's your job, bro. You're not here to oppose the Iraqi war. So, yeah, I found that pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, that we're gonna keep searching for that unicorn. So, what else are we talking about? We blew past the ACB. All right.
Well, I really honestly just feel like
that that didn't boil over into your real life. It didn't boil over into mine, so I like that where that was.
It's not even boiling over. I just like, dude, again, like, I wish they did ask me how I do wish the Senate said, hey, Cody, you think we should nominate the Supreme Court justice? I wish they did, but they don't, man.
Yeah, I hear you, dog.
Just
I
kind of
totally
happens, you know.
So, what else happened today? What do you think was crazy? Can I tell you something that I thought that was hilarious that everybody has to see? Did you see Steven Crowder's
No, I don't care anymore.
WWE? No, it was a hilarious 90 seconds.
I saw it.
That was really funny. As a World Wrestling fan, what did you think?
It was just like a lame, cheap parody.
Oh, what do you mean lame, cheap parody? It was really funny. Oh, man, I thought you'd like that a little bit more. I thought it was kind of intense. And it was bipartisan. And it was good,
I have a question. What does bipartisan mean, and why is it good?
Actually, why is it good is a very good, challenging question. But I believe bipartisan means, at least in the context of comedy, making fun of both sides equally. Equal opportunity offender is what I view as bipartisan in the realm of comedy. Does that make sense?
And it's good.
In comedy, just because I think a comedian's job is to actually strangely bring us together through comedy. Moliere, I'm going to look up Moliere quote, but he said basically the duty of comedy is to instruct men where other methods cannot, instruct him towards goodness. And so I think comedy instructs us towards goodness by making fun of our flaws. And if you want to instruct as many people in the room as possible towards goodness, by mocking their flaws, the way you'll reach the most amount of people is by doing it equally to everybody on the political spectrum. And we're basically divided in 2 groups or 4 groups. You know what I'm saying? And so if you can find a way to equally make fun of all of them, none of them feel particularly singled out, and then the message actually gets through. It takes restraint as a comedian. It does, because you want to push your agenda. But I think you actually reach more people. Your comedy gets better by exercising that restraint, and you touch more the hearts of men and make more people laugh if you actually can show that restraint and be bipartisan. Does that make sense?
No, it does. Yeah, I get it. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of times they kind of just, you just be like, it's bipartisan. Like, okay, and by the way, I hate both parties, so.
Yeah. Well, no, but that's bipartisan. And that's actually probably why you and I are friends, bro. Because the opposite of love is not hate. So the opposite of a partisan Republican is not a partisan Democrat. It's an apathetic person.
I'm not apathetic.
Well,
I got some thoughts. I got some feelings on these things. I can tell you that much.
No, but you're right. I shouldn't say apathetic, but you see where I'm going with there, right? You know what I'm saying? That it's worse to have apathy than to have opposition. Ooh. Dude, that should straight up be an inspirational meme that you see floating on the side of some corporate boardroom with a picture of a guy like hanging off a cliff. Man, you didn't experience the 90s with those posters, did you? All right, so I can't read the super chats because my internet just crapped out.
Oh, here we go. Sly Cactus, sorry. Just asked, we read Kenneth Booker, Sly Cactus, $5. I got you, man. Once the election is over, then I will judge Andrew. For now, I'm swallowing the hard pill of Andrew supporting Biden. I agree. I agree. It's like the idea of, I don't, how do I put this? Andrew Yang has made the decision for the 2020 election. He's going to try to get in with the Biden admin if they win. That's the plan. I'm not going to fault each individual action he takes towards that plan. That's the plan. Do I love it? Not really. I wish he didn't do it. But hey, I didn't love when he went back on his boycott against the media either. But he's again, he's got a wife. He's got kids. He's a grown man. I think he can live with any repercussions. I think he can deal with the responsibility. So that's the reality. So yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, here's the thing. If Biden wins and 2 years from now, Yang didn't actually get a seat at the table, he's not in the administration, and he's still just shilling for the Democratic Party, I'll probably start getting pretty upset with him. will be like, Jesus Christ, man. Because, dude, like, no offense if anyone in the chat, 2 years from now, I have a feeling Democratic Party is going to still be an awful party in shambles that are just doing nonsense like Nancy Pelosi is right now. Like, Andrew Yang keeps calling Nancy Pelosi out, for example. And one thing I have liked Andrew Yang about, hopefully he does do this, I guess, while we're on it. Andrew Yang has been a bit of a leader on the left, from the Democratic Party, like from the Democratic Party left at least. Andrew Yang has been a bit of a leader on pressuring Nancy Pelosi to get a deal done.
Yeah.
I think he just tweeted something out again today about that.
I give him credit. Do you think there's been some blowback?
I know there's been some blowback, of course, but here's
some lasting.
Here's the tweet. He's agreeing with Ro Khanna is another congressperson pushing for UBI, cool individual who's been also doing that one. Yeah, he puts out today is a video of him. See if I can play it in the background. Is there music playing?
Overwhelming need. If you look at the politics involved, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats should be chomping at the bit to get a deal done for the sake of their constituents. And Donald Trump and Steve Mnuchin have signaled that they want a deal as well. So if a deal can be struck early this week, I believe it still has a chance to get relief into the hands of the American people during this window. If we miss this window before the election, we could be waiting until February, which would be devastating for millions of Americans.
And he goes on more. But yeah, again, like he says, like a lot of people are saying this, like Trump, Mnuchin, and even Lindsey Graham seem to be saying, Mitch McConnell seem to be saying, like, well, give us the bill, we'll put it in front of the people and try to get it voted on. And Nancy Pelosi won't put it. And again, I think that's going to be a Democratic Party 2 years from now, 4 years from now, which is the party. However, I do like to see, again, if Andrew Yang uses his ability, or not an ability, but if Andrew Yang kind of uses, if the extra favor he gets with the people high up in the Democratic Party by kind of tailoring some of his language and tailoring some of his messaging to be a little bit less harsh on Joe and a little bit more pro-Joe, which he did. I mean, there's no, like, even, like, that's just the reality. He was running against Joe Biden. Now he's campaigning for him, right? If for making that trade-off, you use that cachet to allow yourself to be a bit of a leader from the left, because there's a couple things now where he's done that, where he's really stepped forward and said, hey, right, left doesn't matter. This has to get done. Yeah. That's what really appealed to me to Andrew Yang, is that he was again, I would definitely be wavering between, like, of the five parties, honestly. Especially if you frame.
I was gonna say, which one do you think Yang fits in, Labor or Green?
If you frame these to me this way, I'd probably be a Labor voter. I don't think I'd vote for Joe Biden ever. But if there was a party that was just about, like, middle class economic issues, I would vote for them. That would be my most.
So the universal health insurance appeals to you, and that's not a deterrent.
I mean, like that's
and the raised taxes on the wealthy to support programs for the less well off. As a California, those two, you are leaving the state because of that, Cody.
Well, what I'm saying is that's not like my go-to. Like, I could see myself leaning there. The bigger thing is just a focus. See,
because to me, the green definition, if I didn't see that face of AOC, the green definition would seem
carbon-free economy.
But that would seem more. Well, they're doing carbon-free capture in Texas in every new plant. Okay. If they'd throw out the rebuild every building nonsense, then I'd say, oh, these are the psychos. But if you actually said that of the two parties, Labor and Green, without the pictures of Biden or AOC, and saw the definition, put the middle class first, pass universal health insurance, strengthen labor units, I think that's the AOC party. I think that's the psycho party of just dreams and wishes that never come to fruition, but they ruin your life, ruin the economy, and then call your place the USSR. So that's really interesting, where you say if you were going to vote for these things, you might be enticed to do Labor. Whereas I think that the psychos would be in the Labor Party, not in the Green. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sorry.
He's still reading it.
No, yeah. I was trying to find. I'm not even going to bring this up.
Yeah. Kenneth Booker got a super chat. Says Yang was called sexist for calling her Nancy.
I was looking.
How is that sexist?
I was looking that up. I'll show you guys.
Well, anything is
look
now.
Look at this ridiculous. The internet's a crazy place. I literally just Google searched Andrew Yang Nancy sexist. This is ridiculous. I just want to show you guys this. We do not endorse anything on this website, but look how weird this is. So.
Incels.co.
Yeah, it links to incels.co.
Okay.
And it says Andrew Yang is sexist according to Nancy Pelosi's daughter. JFL, Asian men can't get any breaks, ruffle. And then there's
What's JFL? Just for luck?
I have no idea. But there's a whole thread in here of people that are upset. Oh, I'm not going to hold for too long. Look at this, though.
That he called her by her first name?
No, but there's just an entire thread of people upset about my only point I wanted to bring that up for.
That one, Yang does have a hot wife.
No, but it's just
It's true. Evelyn's gorgeous, man.
It's just, dude, Google search anything and you'll have no idea what you'll find. It's the only reason I want to bring it up. I was just trying to find the tweet because I remember there's a tweet that said it. I was trying to find the tweet. You never know what you're going to find. You might find a bunch of people in an incel forum bitching and complaining about Nancy Pelosi and whatever else they complain about. When you just try to look up if the thing. Let me see if I can find the actual one. But yeah. Crazy world. But yeah, I mean, the idea that Andrew Yang was called sexist for
yeah, but that wasn't
Nancy
the first time.
Pelosi
Remember, he got called sexist because he let that woman go with like a massive severance pay, and basically she was arguing that she was the first recipient of UBI as part of like her severance package. Remember, and like her complaint just kind of ended up being this de facto endorsement of like, oh, so how'd that work out for you?
Here we go. Found it.
Hit it.
Some of the stuff, man, they freaking bury it behind 20 things. You gotta Google around a bit. There we go. So from Christine Pelosi, she said, everyday sexism is a man using her first name to refer to the Speaker of the House who's been passing stimulus bills for months. No, he doesn't ask Donald or Mitch to make a deal, or explain why we should sacrifice protections for essential workers, most of whom are women. In reference to Nancy needs to say yes, quote from Andrew.
Oh, that is just pathetic. See, that's the
so
kind
many
of
people
hatred.
call her Nancy. So people call politicians by the first name. It's like, hold on.
That's the kind of hatred that only can be taught by an SJW academic professor.
See, that's what you say because you want to.
Yeah.
Because you're.
No, that's the biggest problem I have.
What is this person's name?
Christine Pelosi.
Oh, it doesn't say here. It's like her niece, dude.
Yeah, so she probably rode on the coattails of her last name to get in an Ivy League college where she got a useless degree like women's studies or something, and they taught her to hate men.
If your worldview is it's
What?
more likely that this woman's niece is sticking up for her because she was brainwashed by liberal art wackadoo or something.
No.
Or
not the why.
Is it more likely that it's her aunt and
it's
she's
her
standing
aunt.
up for what's more likely to you?
No.
What's more likely to you?
No, don't misinterpret me. I'm not saying that it's unlikely she's standing up because of her aunt. I totally get that and I respect that. I'm just saying that her argument that it's sexism.
Oh, daughter.
Okay, her daughter's argument that it's sexism, that's a stupidity that can only be taught in a gender studies classroom.
What? See, I disagree with that.
Pre-gender studies, they would have found a much better logical manner that lands to defend auntie.
I don't.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. I disagree. I'm sorry. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it's the dumb libs made her stupid. I don't know if it's that simple.
No,
I think she might say, "Hey, my mom, you suck, you dummy." I don't know.
I would say, like, get off my mom's back, you
However,
blank.
if you want to talk about people who are parroting her and agreeing with her, then yeah, you have a point there.
Yeah. So
just saying, literally daughters are different.
I don't remember this user in the chat, but I'm like a lot of their comments today. And I got to say, I'm just giving a shout out to the YouTube username, Hyperballistic Drifter God. That is really cool. That, I think, is one of the awesomest YouTube names I've seen in a long time, except for also I saw another one called They Never Should Have Given Me the Internet. That was a really fun YouTuber's name that I saw in the chat a couple weeks ago that I thought that was really funny. What's the funniest username on YouTube you've seen, Cody? This little aside.
It's really honestly impossible for me to say.
Really?
Maybe. I think there's someone's username is the Cincinnati Bengals still don't have an indoor practice facility. I think that's probably my favorite one.
Oh, dude, that's true.
And then he just makes comments on a lot of
in
football
Cincinnati?
videos, and he says that the Cincinnati Bengals, this wouldn't have happened if the Bengals had an indoor practice facility. They're the only team in the NFL without an indoor practice facility.
Oh, gosh. And Cincinnati, isn't that like within 20 miles
cold.
of the freaking
It's very cold
Lake Huron or whatever it's called?
It's very cold in Cincinnati in the winter when they play football.
You can get your ears frozen. You'll get frostbite there.
Hey, man, costs money to build an indoor practice facility. The Raiders have an indoor practice facility. It's very nice. I've driven past it a few times. But the Cincinnati Bengals don't get one.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Those poor people. They are right in the middle of the corridor.
Yeah.
between Indianapolis
Windy?
and Columbus, Ohio,
Yeah,
when the
cold.
polar vortex.
Oh yeah.
They should be the first ones to have it. We have it here in LA and we never need it.
Every other team has one. Buffalo Bills have an indoor practice.
We have
facility.
soccer teams with indoor practice facilities. BYU, my freaking university, has one of the coolest indoor football facilities.
Yeah, most colleges have them. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, those poor people. What's their budget? Cody, what's the budget? It's probably a small Banana Republic's
Here's the thing:
budget.
it's not even like budget, right? It's just like, does the owner of the team want to build one or not? Apparently, he doesn't.
So
Normally,
Cincinnati
you can get like a naming deal, like you build it, but then State Farm gives you $80 million to name it.
Really? They can get that much?
Oh yeah, look how much.
The Staples Center.
How much did SoFi pay to call it SoFi Stadium down there at Inglewood? I wonder.
So they're up 6%.
Let me look.
Wait, Bengals rank on NFL's most valuable franchises? Would you say that, Cody? Or valuable in the sense that...
Hold on. I think it was a $400 million 20-year deal to name it SoFi Stadium.
Wow, that's crazy. Look at this, though.
How they build them? They're expensive. Well, that and taxpayer dollars. That's what they build.
Yeah. It says the Cincinnati Bengals have reached the $2 billion mark when it comes to the value of the franchise, but they still rank nowhere near the top of the heap in the National Football League, according to Forbes magazine's annual estimates of NFL franchise valuations. $2 billion. They got revenue of $2 billion. How much do you think it would cost to build an indoor practice facility? $30-40 million tops, right?
Dude, the Bengals just don't even. The Bengals, they don't have like a scouting department. They don't have they have very few scout. The Bengals are just a kind of a shoddy.
Who was the guy that ran the Clippers for a long time that didn't give a crap about anything? He ended up getting busted for saying all of those.
Oh, the guy who had
things.
his team taken because he was racist.
What was his name?
Donald Sterling.
Donald Sterling. So is this just like because we got a Donald Sterling that didn't care for years? He's just like, this is a cash cow that I'm just going to keep on autopilot.
I don't know. It just doesn't feel like building it in practice.
Who owns the Cincinnati Bengals? These poor guys, man.
So anyway, to answer your question, the guy whose name is the Cincinnati Bengals still don't have an indoor practice facility. Who spam comments Cincinnati Bengals still don't have an indoor practice facility and a bunch of videos. That's probably the funniest YouTube username. Anyway, as you guys can tell, we're talking YouTube usernames. We're rounding down. I want to make sure. Yes, someone brought up a good point here. Just try your best, you guys, over these next few months to not let your stupid peasant lips say Nancy without calling her Mrs. Speaker of the House, 2-time Speaker of the House, Goddess Nancy Pelosi, the Pelosiest.
Yeah.
Just don't let your stupid peasant mind think you're allowed to call her Nancy.
That's the coolest, the Pelosiest.
Yes.
Last thing then before we do
the Baroness of San Francisco. That's you can call her that if you want to, but
or just say Gavin's aunt.
Don't look at her. Yeah, not even on TV. Don't look directly at her with your peasant eyes. Divert them.
What are we going to do when all of these old boomer politicians that hold all the power just all of a sudden die all within like a 2 or 3 year period? Because just statistically, our leadership in the Senate and the Congress is just, they're already on borrowed time. They're all a bunch of old aging boomers. We're watching.
They're not even boomers. Nancy's not a boomer. Nancy was 80 years old. She's a.
Is she a silent generationer?
I think so.
What? Get out of town, really?
Yes, dude. Nancy Pelosi's atomic bomb, dude. She wasn't born after World War II.
Oh my gosh, she is older than the atomic bomb.
So is Joe Biden. So is Mitch McConnell. They're all older than the atomic bomb, dude.
So when does the silent generation end? Question mark.
Oh, it looks like we're. Just keep going.
Oh, okay. When does the silent generation end? Question mark. Oh, my internet's a little bit slow. That might be what's causing you the problem too.
Yeah, the stream might have crashed. If you guys can still see us, you might lose this any second. So this would be a preemptive sign off. You want to end your card?
That's it. Actually, we can just end it right here. This has been great, and it's been real, and it's been fun, guys. Signing off, probably going to have some cutouts here anyway, because this is California. We can't keep infrastructure working, because in no other state do they ever have internet problems, Cody. No, I'm just kidding.
Never. For no reason.
Problems